Hello, 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 and welcome yet again to Sarah and Jana's little show here today. So, today we are going to talk about the fact that we were born not to tiptoe around anyone. How many of us put our
Excellent. I
hands
love that.
to
I
the
love
fact
that.
that we do that, whether it's parents, friends, relatives? There's at least some point in our lives where we have tiptoed around somebody because we don't want to upset them or for whatever other
Exactly.
reason,
Exactly.
right?
So, um, I'll tell you what I think, and you can ask me, and we can work around that as usual. So, I just posted something on social media, and it's we were not born to tiptoe around anyone. We were born to express ourselves. Lots of illnesses. Yeah, yeah, yeah. People, pen and paper. Yeah, lots of illnesses and basically all unhappiness starts with I'm afraid to express myself. I'm afraid to speak. That's why so many people have problem with this area. Sore throats, tight throat, all sorts of stuff because it's the communication center. Or it starts burning you. You really want to tell someone where to go very specifically, and it starts burning you, and you can't. And it's like, and then you get into a car and you swear for half an hour. Why didn't I say something? Because you can, because this just is so tight and you're so scared. You have physical reactions because you cannot tell what you want, and that's wrong. We were born to express ourselves. There's so many clients which come and tell me, I feel like I have no voice. We all have a voice. And you came here to express and speak. So we need to learn one of the very first steps in personal development and getting what not learning how to get what you want is stand up for yourself and speak your mind.
I think as well, one of it doesn't necessarily have to be the voice that it goes to. I think that when we don't verbalize or express our feelings, those can also manifest in our bodies
In
anywhere,
a gut and everywhere else.
right?
Yeah.
Um, for me, being in the fitness world, I assumed that I had to have vocal cord surgery because I had some polyps on my vocal cord, which I assumed was from speaking and screaming, which maybe was a contributing factor. But actually, one of the things that you've actually helped me recognize as well is the fact that in just general, and not because of other people deliberately, but I've actually had the feeling that in certain situations I haven't been able to verbalize things myself, which has then perhaps manifested into the vocal cord
Yeah, yeah,
issues.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Um, it's not just that we are afraid to speak, and our parents do a really great job, like, be quiet, don't say anything. That was hurtful. If you have nothing nice to say, be quiet. At which point I'm like, you said what?
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
I think you're right. I think, just thinking back to my childhood is um, that you never say anything unkind, right? You're kind of like brought up, no, you don't say those unkind things to anybody,
I mean, there is a difference between outright meanness and
right?
evil. And there's a difference between conflict. Conflict is one of the bases and one of the main pillars of all communication. If you cannot handle conflict, you're not going to go very far in life. And I can promise you, you're not going to be very happy either. Because if you cannot communicate through conflict successfully or at all, yeah, that's really wrong. And all these parents, things like what we just said, contribute to that.
Right.
You see, and this is what I have to teach on basically all of my clients.
I think
You
as well
see someone,
it's breaking that generational stuff that we've
mm,
been programmed with, right? Because we've been
as well, just as
our
well, yeah.
parents didn't deliberately tell us not to speak our words, but it was kind of like their parents also told them and the parents before them. Like it's all these generations of behaviors that we have learned that we're now
And
saying,
it's like also the fake politeness. It's
Right.
fake. It's not honest. Someone is horrible to you, and you're gonna, no, if I have nothing nice to say, I'll go. No, then you don't love yourself, and you don't self have any self-worth, and you don't self-respect. When
Right.
someone is saying something, strong people, depends on where in development they are, will say something back. Depends, could be something horrible as well. It could be something, something intelligent, something decent. It doesn't matter, but your job is to stand up for yourself. How else are you going to appreciate yourself? How else are you going to send signals that I love myself and no one will treat me, badly?
Yeah, and
And you don't, it
I
has
think
to be done. It simply has to be done.
I think that it's that again, one of the things that
Mm.
I think that's important to talk about is that difference between speaking without becoming angry and aggressive, like and learning, like you say, how to do that, right? How to
So I,
hold
I
yourself.
basically have several stages I teach people because all my clients are not capable of standing up for themselves.
Hmm.
They're still they're 40, 50, and they still cannot tell their parents, you crossed the line. I'm sorry, this is not acceptable. Which you have to be able to do. Because if you do not set boundaries, everyone will abuse you because they think that you're okay with it. And inside you're like, I can't breathe, I have anxiety, I'm gonna have panic attack. And they don't even know, they think that you're okay with it because you said nothing. It's not their fault, it's your fault because you said nothing. You didn't say, I'm sorry, this is not okay with me. So I teach that there are several steps in speaking out. You want to behave like a lady or gentleman,
Right.
but you will not at the beginning because you've never been used to standing up for yourself. It will be difficult for you. So sometimes, in order to make yourself, to change yourself from I can't fight for myself, I can't speak for myself, you will have to get really angry for the words to actually leave your mouth.
Okay.
And that's okay, because
Right.
that's better than saying nothing and taking it. And that's okay.
And
And when you do it a few times,
the analogy that I'm seeing, being that fitness person, is like when somebody comes and needs to lift weights, for example. The first time that they lift those weights, it may not actually be that heavier weight, but they've never done it before. So they have to bring in so much energy and effort to lift that dumbbell up, right? But then the next
yeah,
time
and
they
you're
come in
standing
and they
there
do it,
wondering what the hell.
they're like, what the heck? I'm never going to be able to be any good at this. Like, this is never going to. And then before you know it, you come up, you show again. The next time you do it, it's a little bit easier and a little bit easier. And then you start progressing. And I think just generally in our lives, we think that we should naturally be great at something, whereas everything is about taking consistent effort. And I guess the same thing with speaking up for ourselves. Sometimes we have to muster up that real dig down deep, like you say, that boom, and then
It's
we're
a
like, yes, I
major
did it.
discomfort. It's a
Yes.
major discomfort, and you're not going to push through if you do not get really upset and really angry. So do it because it's worth it.
Hmm.
Okay, it wasn't the best way to do it, but hey ho, stuff
Yeah.
happens.
The only thing I
So,
want to say is we do not condone any kind of violent acts. So
not publicly, no, we don't.
we know we've got to muster up the energy, but we
Yeah,
do not
but
condone
we're
any kind
we're
of
talking
violence.
about verbal
Right.
communication so far.
Right.
If you want to do Krav Maga, you need to join different channel.
Oh gosh.
um, so you know, you get the energy up, whether it's positive or negative, and you start saying something. It's not ideal, but who cares? You started doing something because you're just gain some sort of self-respect. You just gain some sort of self-confidence. You just gain far more than you lost by being angry. That's okay. And you repeat, and you make yourself a promise. I'm not backing up. If someone treats me not correctly or tries to bully me or is rude or is obnoxious or is threatening, whatever, I will, unless of course your life is involved, then at which point, if you're not great at martial arts, run. Don't don't
your
train
own
yourself
past.
on people who are nasty and got 2 meters, um, not the point. um, and then you do it a few times. You make yourself promise that you're not backing off, and you're gonna do it every single time. And but when you do it 5, 10 times, you will realize, okay, I'm more comfortable with it. I can do it. I can stand up for myself. If I can do this, what else can I do? You start wondering, and you start being less and less and less and less and less and less angry. So in a couple of years, you will be the lady and say, "Excuse me, I do not appreciate that comment. Thank you very much." Or, "I appreciate that you have a right to an opinion. However, I have a right not to accept it."
Right.
Yeah, you can say that, but it's not going to come the first time if you've never been used to saying something.
Right.
Don't put it's not going to happen. So don't blame yourself for having a scream or go at someone. It's perfectly fine. You will grow into doing it correctly one day.
Right. And I think that we've all been in that position where we're like, damn it, I wish I had said this, right?
Oh
But
my God,
isn't
yeah.
it isn't it better to be like, damn it, I wish I'd done that, even though I'd actually said something, right? Rather than, oh, beating yourself up because the words didn't come out, right? So,
Exactly. Just say it. It doesn't matter. You'll
mm.
feel like the bad the bad girl for a while. You're gonna consider it, actually, I did it, that was funny. And then you say, no, no, actually I want to be a lady. It was funny, but I want to be a lady. And carry on towards, doing it graciously. Um but if you don't do it, so lots of people come to me and they say, I want to start a business, but I'm scared. I'm like, okay, and then they talk to me. It's like, why didn't you stand up for yourself there? Why did you let that person talk to you or treat you like that? And I tell them why they need to change that. And I said, you want to start a business, and how are you going to deal with people who don't pay you, who don't deliver what you paid for, who don't come on time, who don't show up for the session, and you're waiting there? You could have had a different client for another money, and you're waiting. What are you going to do? So you're going to do nothing? Basically, what you're saying to the universe, and what will come back to you inevitably by the laws of physics, is, I don't matter. You can treat me however you like.
Yeah,
If
and
that's what you want, keep going. But,
I feel like there's a lot. One of my
yeah.
other coach friends was talking about a meeting in which she was in, and they were talking about money, and nobody was addressing the fact that everybody was feeling that they were being underpaid. So there's a whole load of people that still view the same, but nobody was verbalizing this. And so then
Because
there's,
they're afraid to speak.
they're
You're
afraid to
afraid to
speak.
speak. You're afraid to speak. And I can't stress that enough. You're afraid to speak. And unless you stop being afraid to speak, you are not going to get what you want in life.
Right.
I couldn't make it any clearer if I tried.
Yeah.
So, first step, that person in supermarket ran into me, didn't apologize. I'm like, excuse me, do you think that that's the correct behavior, to run into someone and not apologize? I'm not asking you to do drama. I'm asking you to practice. Excuse me, that's not all right.
Yeah. I
That's
kind of,
not all right. Because, and I had a client who's got a wonderful plan for building a little sport facility, a little local stadium, and it's going to take millions of dollars. And I had to teach her this. It was like, so what are you going to do? You're a girl, and there's going to be 10, 20 builders, guys, bulked up, uh, lots of
right, right,
muscle,
right.
and you're gonna, like, I'm sorry, you were supposed to finish this yesterday, but you didn't. Do you think that they're gonna respect you?
Yeah.
Probably not. So you need to learn how to speak up, so you can say, look, guys, this is not okay. You were supposed to finish this part yesterday, you didn't. So you need to stay here longer and figure things out. Yeah, I just paid your invoice, so I have a right to get. I got a right to a delivery.
Now, do you think that women tend to have more of an issue with this over men? Do you think that it's
um,
or not?
I think
your
it's equal.
experience?
I think it's equal.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's equal. I know men who are strong and can do that.
Hmm.
I know men who are strong and then they meet a woman and they can do that.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Don't we all? And
Yeah, yeah.
lots of women can do it. I actually, it's like one of the biggest diseases out there, but no one talks about it.
Hmm.
It's like a disease. People are not willing to talk about what to say what they think, and that is a true disease. And I can confirm that actual diseases, real life diseases, come from that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I would also say the same. Working with my clients as well. Sometimes, they're just in places where they're just not, like you say, not being heard, or can't feel that they're in a job which isn't paying them enough. They've got an awful
Mm.
boss. Their husband's not supporting them, and all these kind of things, these scenarios, all about they're kind of like trapped, that like in this, like
But
their own like little prison of themselves.
because they're not saying anything.
Yeah.
It goes towards children. I remember, my mother occasionally saying, and I do all this. It's like, we were waiting for that. We laughed inside because it was like little hysterics for 15 minutes, slamming the door 5 times. Like what now? We all do it. So
Right, right.
I just remember, and you don't do this, and you should do that, and I'm just a slave here, and I didn't buy myself something nice to wear for ages because all the money goes to you, and I'm like, how am I responsible for that? I'm not. It's your job to take care of yourself. I'm a child. Don't blame your life on me. I didn't contribute to that at all, So this is it. People want to say something and they don't, and they grow resentment towards the people they refuse to communicate with, and then they blame them. While the whole thing is that it's your doing. It's your own doing because you didn't communicate, you didn't say anything. No one knows that you feel this way. You didn't take any precautions, you didn't organize anything in a way that it suits you. And then you have resentment and tell everyone else. How is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that resentment with a lot of people as well, and quite often I think that sometimes when we have these feelings, it's good to actually then look internally and say, why am I feeling resentful? What is it that I'm resenting, and where is this coming from? And sometimes that's a hard conversation to have with ourselves. Like, yeah, because I need to do something about me or my situation or scenario. So, yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing for me from what you're saying as well is that to make that big step, to just, even if it's small things, like it could be that somebody leaves their socks on the floor and you're like, I really don't like coming down in the morning and finding these socks. Would you please make sure that at night you just pick them up? And then they don't. And you're like, I've spoken to you about this. I've told you that it upsets me, but you're continuing to disrespect me. Why are you doing that? Like, and then,
Well, and
just
then
simple
we're
little
there we're
things.
dealing with the projections of what we think of people we are gonna get that. So that's another video
I think,
basically.
well, I love
Should
it
we
when
do a
I come
video
up with
about
these things without
socks?
realizing, right?
Should we do videos about socks?
Socks. Oh God, let's not do it about socks.
Yeah. And so that's a whole another issue. But there I can offer 3 sentences. We need to write this down. These are by psychology. This is not manifesting, this is by psychology, best 3 sentences which should save you from arguing and putting your point across perfectly. So
Okay.
please write this down. Stop the video. Go run, get a pen and paper. Sentence number 1. When you. Just write this down and I will explain. Second sentence. I feel. Third sentence. I would prefer or I prefer. So it goes like this. when you throw the socks on the floor, I feel unloved, disrespected, and like a slave here. So I feel, I prefer if you put the socks where they belong and we can both feel loved and respected. I feel, I prefer.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually really great things.
Because you're explaining yourself, and this is all I teach. Treat people with logic and you'll be fine. This is logical. There's no you didn't do and
Yeah.
no. It's
There's
just
no emotion,
logical.
right? There's no
There's no
real
emotion
emotion.
attached to it. There's no
Mhm.
blame attached to it.
Yeah.
When you da 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 da, I feel da 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 da. I prefer. There's no blame. There's no saying you're the horrible person. It's an explanation. It's a logical explanation. It's factual.
Right, because then what I said, and then when they don't do it, and I say, but why did you do that? You know that I don't like that. Again, it's like
It's a mini attack.
it's like a little like it's like blaming, like you know what I mean?
It's
So
nothing to
that's
do
not
with me. It's just you.
yes. Which then when somebody starts like saying, "Oh, look at you, you've done all this," it's like you immediately become defensive and then kind of like a prime to
Although
attack.
you would have admitted that you did that, you
Yeah.
start being defensive because you feel attacked. So
Right.
you're going nowhere.
Yes.
So you need to detach from the emotions and from the pain and from the hurt and like become a different person. So I'm Jana, and you really, really upset me with the socks now. But if I don't want to cause international event and
I
start
laughing about this.
war, maybe just I'll become Elizabeth. I'm Elizabeth. Elizabeth has no emotions towards you. She just met you 3 seconds ago. So what would Elizabeth say? Elizabeth would say, well, I hear that you're not putting the socks where they belong. I think it's not, I think it's not okay. It makes me feel this way. Is it possible for you to put the socks where they belong? It just, let's go and have a drink. Yeah, totally. So become someone else and deal with it on a level when you have no emotional attachments and you're not like, but I had to put up with this for 18 years.
So
18 years.
don't become the sock psycho and grab the socks and
Sock
start doing
psycho! I love that.
unearthly things. Sarah's idea is grab the socks, throw them all in the bin, get rid of them, and there won't be any more problems. They'll all be gone.
Basically, just bear walk
So yeah,
forever.
we don't need sock psychos out there, right?
No. This is hilarious. Love that. So do we understand?
Yeah.
It's your emotion and your pain, and when you're going with this, you're being doing this for 18 years. This was the last sock, not
This is
last
the
straw,
last
last
sock.
sock. You're getting it in the neck, and you also don't do the dishes, and you also screwed up the
Right.
insurance papers. And I'm getting you. What do you think is gonna come out of it?
No good is going to come out of this.
So, Elizabeth, I just met you. I hear that you're not Jana's husband. So, 1, 2, 3. Are we okay? Can we have a drink finally? Yeah, totally. Done.
Yeah. And again, this takes practice.
This takes practice. You're going to have to do it until you succeed. So, you're going to do it less aggressively next time. Then you're going to do it less aggressively the time after. You're going to do it less aggressively the time after that. And one day you're going to say, darling, when you put the socks in the wrong place, remember? I feel like you're not being totally respectful.
And he's going to be thinking, I'm married to a sock psycho. When you start saying, darling, those socks, it's going to happen. Oh,
we need
thought
to
we
have
would
fun.
have a serious conversation.
Yeah. It's brilliant. I love it.
It'll be that one word. As soon as that word, darling, comes out of your mouth. So,
Oh, here we go again.
Quick, what have I done?
Real trouble comes, darling. Yeah.
Uh,
So this is it. This is it. So you got the 3 sentences. They're the best sentences in the world, designed not to
Go
upset
through them
or
one more time for
attack
us. One more
someone.
time.
When I feel, I prefer. When you put the socks, da 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 da, I feel disrespected and like a slave. Um, I prefer if you put the socks where they belong, so we can both have a nice, peaceful relationship and just enjoy ourselves more. Because I will feel that you actually respect me. Great.
I'm going to put those words up somewhere so that I can remember.
Lipstick, bathroom mirror.
When you, I feel, I prefer. When you, I feel, I prefer. I'm going to have
totally.
these words down.
Totally. Yeah, so that works. Of course, manifesting, we talked about that in a previous video, which you guys should watch. You can manifest a person the way you want them to be without even talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
You just, power of thought, you just send your thoughts. Yeah, you will pick up the socks and you will put them where they belong. This is how I made my husband apologize to me within 10 minutes. And he never apologizes. And I was like, you're doing it. Like, you're going to apologize for this in this way. 10 minutes later, yeah, I know. I shouldn't have done that. That was bad of me. I do apologize. And like, yeah, power of thought. 10 minutes.
Did you,
Someone who never apologizes.
Did you say darling? It's like
no, but I may start.
Him.
I just start.
Oh god,
it's gonna be a major shock to the system.
Yeah. This has been great. So hopefully everybody has got those words written down and can hopefully utilize them. We would love to hear how you found this video. If you find it helpful, useful, please like and subscribe, share it with your friends and get the word out. And we'd love for you to join us again next time on the Jana and Sarah show. And we look forward to talking to you about more little tips and tricks in which to make your life full of love, enjoyment, healthy.
And if you want to get in touch with us, we have a link in the description of the video, and you can just get a hold of us and tell us what you'd like help with.
Just remember, just call me darling.
I can see the emails now pouring in. It'll be brilliant. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody. Take care, everyone. Love to you all. Be safe, be well. Take care. Bye.